Hi there guys, this is a video just kind of showing a progression of work. So this is from 2008 to 2011, and then I'll be getting some of my other sketchbooks that I did during my college years. So that's English college, so that's year 12 to year 13. So 18 or 17 till 18, and then the kind of my stuff that I do at the moment. So it's just going to be kind of a progression of work. It's been kind of painful to drag out the old stuff. But hopefully it inspires you guys just to see what kind of practice and learning and being taught, and then more practice and more practice and more practice can do. I mean, it's awesome to look back and see the change of quality, but it's also kind of embarrassing to go through these old ones. So here's one from 2008 that I did of a friend. As you can see, very poor kind of understanding of the body, the form, the facial features. Eyes are way too big. But it's just kind of to give you a reference point of where I started from. So, I mean, I've been drawing my whole life. Up until this point. This one's even worse. Let's have a look at this. Right here. Don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if we can get some focus here. But yeah, so this is even worse. I mean, this is like horrendous, to be honest. Bad idea of form, proportions, all that different stuff. I mean, little to no shading. Looks more like smudging. Yeah, just really bad. So this is 5 years ago. Very simple line work with pen. That was tracing. This is from imagination. But again, I mean, check this dude. That guy is way out of whack. But yeah, so I didn't really understand a whole lot about how you did things. This is when we went to Bruges. It's kind of like a quick sketch. This was in 2008 as well. I think this was in 2009, this was 2008. This is in a kitchen, or the first house we rented here. It's in the kitchen there, so let's get the light out of there. But yeah, so very, very rough, very crude drawings. Let's have a look at this one here. Yeah, it's from 2008. This is 31st of the 5th. This one here. So I think this was on the canal. I was quite happy with that when I did it. Obviously, looking back, it's not great, but it's just a progression. This is in 2009, I think. Okay, yeah. No, this is from 2010. That one there. So that's kind of just a self-portrait I think I did. I was working out quite a bit in those days. And just kind of a very rough, but yeah, no, it's just, but starting to get a bit more understanding of how the body works, bone structure is a little bit better, muscle structure, starting to understand how things fit together. You can see more weight on this side, on the right side, and then stretching on the left, more understanding of tendons and things like that. Proportions weren't right yet, I mean they're close, but just more understanding of weight. So this was done in 2010 as well. Also of a friend. This I really like. Starting to get a bit more understanding of kind of proportion, size. One of the first ones I was quite happy with, the finished one. This was in 2010 as well. This one I was very happy with. This is just biro, ballpoint pen, kind of your standard Bic kind of pen. And that's me again shooting in South Africa with air rifles. And then this one I did for a school this one I did for myself. Tried to use it in a school project, didn't really fit, so kind of got shoved in here. This is a good friend of mine, doing his rowing thing. So this one I was very happy with. A little more detail with a pencil, if my phone will focus. See a lot more detail with a pencil. Obviously this is a photo reference, so kind of copied this from a photo. So what I often do is just kind of like, when I'm not feeling so confident or bold to do it straight off the bat, just look and draw, what I often do is just trace over it, the rough outline, and then kind of work with the shading and lights and darks and stuff like that. It just gives me a way that I can sort of get the main thing down, so it ends up just being like a coloring book, which makes life just so much easier for when you're doing portraits and you don't want to mess up people's faces. Because the face and the eyes are just some of the hardest things to do. Get eyes right to make it look like the person, that is tough. So anyway, here's just like an eye here. Just kind of very, very bold. I mean, again, non-proportion, no understanding of that, but just starting to get an idea of tone and value and lights and darks. As you can see, a bit of reflection happening here. A bit of the 3D kind of thing, understanding how the eyelashes work when they come towards the lens. Think of that, kind of the socket. Just basic understanding. That's just a random sunrise thing. Right, and then here's some friends as well. So this is obviously Facebook again. Facebook is one of the best tools. I'll tell you right now, artists, Facebook is one of the best tools for you to use because it's got pictures of people you know. So if you like a person's features or something like that, it's very easy to grab photos. Also, if they're putting it on Facebook, then it's probably going to be good of them. It's going to look good. So effectively, you have a whole collection of artist references, effectively, that you can draw from, figures. A lot of people put their holiday pics on when they by the sea and things like that. So it's very good to get things. Obviously, you're not going to get like studio quality poses and things like that, but you will get chance to practice your faces and that kind of just general stuff. So this is obviously at a party. And then there's a picture I did in, and there's no date. I think it's about 2010, 2011, of one of the dogs on my grandparents' farm. So this is Debbie, and she is a Great Dane. Look here. So this is kind of more sort of understanding proportion, a lot more in proportion. Hair, nose, facial features are a lot more accurate. So we're quite pleased with this one. Obviously not a very skill-rich piece, but it's a nice kind of simple piece, I guess. I really enjoyed doing that one. Right, and then we got, this is kind of last year 11, so I was, how old was I? 17. There's kind of a shell, and another shell. I was doing a C project. I should actually probably find some of my C project to show you guys. But that's that. And then about this time, I was really into comics. World War II from the 70s, so 70s comics about World War II. So I decided to do my own. Needless to say, I started and didn't finish. But anyway, so this is Flight Over Cairo. So kind of, just if I can show you this, kind of like watercolors. Just doing very simple, kind of basic things. And then here's one that I was quite happy with. What I actually got was my grandfather bought me a book that was kind of World War II aircraft and pictures about that, and it's kind of an encyclopedia. It was so useful when doing this because I just rattled out all the pictures and copied them, and it worked really well. So that, and then we've got this here. As you can see, not amazing, but I was really happy with the quality at the time. I'm the kind of guy that likes detail, so the more time I put into something, the more I enjoy it, generally. So yeah. So that's that, and then didn't finish that, but anyway. So that's kind of, as you can see, working in pen straight off doesn't always work out so well. This guy turned out to be a bit of a long nose here, but that worked out really well. That looked really good. And kind of using the light and dark to distinguish shapes and that sort of thing. As you can see, this guy's in shadow, with the light coming from the right. Turned out pretty well. Then this is one that I did in about 2011. So around there, just kind of using a lot more lot closer observation of the photo reference, I guess I would say. I'm really focusing in on what it looks like and stuff like that. And I mean, just to show you, I mean, there's already been a progression within those 2 years, a pretty huge progression. If we go back to this, which is pretty bad, to that, it's looking a lot better. Obviously still a long way to go, but just showing a definite increase in the ability. And then this is some early college work, kind of very basic stuff that I didn't really like and kept out of the book. And yeah, here's some line work. So if we can focus that. Some line work, working with kind of biro. It's not biro, what is it? I'm not sure. It's this thing here. Unipin. There we go. So with these things, it's kind of got this kind of, if I can get this to focus. No, it's not going to focus. But it's kind of got like a very standard kind of, so it gives you a uniform kind of line when you're drawing. So you don't really have to worry about pen pressure too much. Obviously there's a little bit, but not too much. So you actually get really nice, fine kind of, just very nice lines when using it. So, like, this is the thing, I dig detail. So, stuff like this. I love to look at other people's work like this. This is one that I was busy on. I can't even tell you how many hours I spent on this thing. But this is like, see, I dig this kind of like really like detailed kind of thing, and kind of messing around with reality and obviously fantasy kind of thing. So rooster hats obviously are not on the high street. And what I love doing is kind of mixing everyday objects into being kind of like a piece of artwork. So obviously here, that's a key. I dig that. There's like a gramophone, and the mouthpiece is actually part of what do you call them? When you go camping, you have those canisters that have gas in them. So kind of like the nozzle for that. There's like an egg and a spotlight and that kind of thing. I dig that. Like there's like a hand holding a bumblebee with some weird kind of fabric thing, surfboards, boats, octopus riding a stingray, beds, and just I love that kind of thing. I love that playfulness, kind of understanding of art. I dig that kind of surrealism kind of thing. So I spent, can't even tell you how many hours on that. And so yeah, that's kind of like a brief thing. I've got more artwork, and I'll try and get some from my college. It's all at home, so I'll have to get that. But I'll have to show you guys like just how much I progressed in my college days, because at this point I was kind of just drawing for the hobby. So I took A-level, I mean GCSE art, fine art, but I didn't really get super into it until I got up until A-level. When I was in A-level, man, it just stepped up. Like they were just expecting, I mean, I worked it out one time, so it was like 3 times more work in half the time. So it was like 6 times harder. It was ridiculous. And it just helped me so much, because it put me under so much more pressure to do art. Put me under time constraints that I'd never had before, and it enabled me to really push through. And that's why I think it's important sometimes to set deadlines, like, oh, I want to do this by this date. I know recently I've just been doing some paintings, and it's just, I was like, this weekend I'm finishing them, and just to have that goal has enabled me so much to push through and kind of get them done. Whereas if you're just kind of going to go on your feelings, you aren't going to get that much done. So I guess the phrase "shut up and do art" is kind of a good one. But yeah, so that's in, what is that, 3 years, 2008 to 2011. 3 years of kind of like just so research into art, work, kind of on weekends, doodling in class, that kind of thing. I don't think I even doodled in class in that time. I think it was in college that I really started to do that. Man, I've got a sketchbook filled with that stuff. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, I hope this is kind of an encouragement to you guys, just to see how bad drawings can be, and kind of to see just how much you can improve if you just put in some time. So that's 3 years of like minimum work. And then what I show you next time will be kind of an increase of what can happen when you work harder. So yeah, hope this found this useful. I'll check you guys later.